Welcome to the stream. It's going to be the 11.7 discussion stream, but as I mentioned in my post, I want to do a little bit of catching up on what has been happening on Returner mode off stream. I have not progressed on UL at all actually, but I've been doing pretty much every single start as well. Today's banner has a 10% chance of girl spawns. I might as well roll it now. So I recorded myself. And I immediately got Kana, which is very interesting, because she's recently gotten a true form. And there we go. My second Uber that I pulled. I got Deal. This is actually also another one that I really want to get. First I got Deal. And now I got Hime Yuri. This is also another one that I really want. Anti-Angel, Anti-Floating. So that's quite a decent haul. And then a second Hime Yuri. And then Verbana. This is a really good 11 roll. Almost 40 total of rolls. 4 new Ubers, 1 dupe. That means I have 4 out of the 6 Ubers in the set, right? I am missing Ruri and Reika. Girls Once isn't gonna come back anytime soon, I thought to myself. And I'm like, well, this is probably my chance. It's probably now or never. So what I did is I rolled again. And I got exactly what I want. I got Ruri and I got the dupe Ruri again, so that's extra NP for me. 5 new girls mons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's move on to 11.7 discussion now. Okay, welcome to 11.7 discussion. Wow, my writing is terrible. I am indeed still on fire. Okay, thank you Reddit Discord. But before that, I want to share something real quick actually. The other day I downloaded a new game, right? And the game immediately puts you in a dungeon with our 4 heroes, only for a dragon to appear and straight up eats one of them. Yeah, I thought that was pretty metal actually. And then I was put on a quest to try to take down the government because the taxes are too high. That's actually I think what people call as the gamer's fantasy. Wait, you don't know what this game is? You mean you never heard of the critically acclaimed turn-based RPG PvE with global PvP game Raid Shadow Legends? The game with 600 unique fantasy team champions with pretty cool design, like Harvest Jack right here. This is pretty cool. And that's just a playable character. You'll also be facing enemies with pretty cool design and gimmicks such as Astronyx the Dark Fate. That's the team you're using on Astronyx's side. I really like this sort of clone gimmicks. Shout out to Miriam from Robbie Ribi, by the way. It's a really good time to start playing Raid right now because they got a bunch of stuff going on this month. Like if you reach 7 days of play before June 28, you'll receive Deliana, the top-notch support champion, for free. She's great at healing and dispelling enemies buff, as well as helping her team to feed off enemies' misery, which basically means that the more clinically depressed your enemies are, the stronger you get. Pretty cool. You might even miss out on the exclusive new skin of the hammer-wielding dwarf Trunda. If you want to max out your Deliana without farming, you can use the code MyDeliana and you'll be able to get 50 XP boosts instantly to max her out. If you click the link in my description or scan this QR code, you can start with a $30 worth of starting bonus, including the epic champion Ragnar Drat, and a whole other slew of items like loads of silvers, energy refill, XP boost, and a free summon using the ancient shard. You can check the loot right here in the inbox section. Thank you Raid for sponsoring. I've been trying the game myself and it's been great so far. Can only get better from here. Now let's get back to the discussion video. First of all, this stream is sponsored by... okay. 11.7 summary. Miscellaneous addition, miscellaneous changes, gacha banner, new true form, new talents, new cat combos, new cat units, new enemies, new stages. Please discuss cheetah cat. I will, don't worry. 11.7 summary. New UL crown, super feline can be boosted to plus 30, and legendary booknet. Oh my god. Well, new UL crown is obvious. Super feline is now boosted to plus 30. If you don't remember what super feline is, it's the 10th basic cat that you get that is available at Silver Gacha Plus, which you get after beating COTC 3. It is now able to be boosted to plus 30 at 10k user rank. It does not have a true form. I imagine the reason why they did this, or at least the way I see it, is because they haven't decided on what Super Feline wants to Super Feline's true form is going to be. So they thought, well, there are definitely going to be people who are going to grind silver tickets. If they are going to just keep on grinding silver tickets, they have like a shit ton amount of Super Feline dupes that they cannot use. They're probably not going to be happy. So they probably decided, well, for now, we might as well just let Super Feline get the plus 30 now, and then we'll design the true form later. That's probably what they're thinking. That's what I'm thinking about. You might say, oh, he's still really bad. Yeah, but he's a basic cat without a true form. Of course he's bad. It's all going to be decided once the true form actually comes out. Now you can actually use your dupe super feline that are waiting inside your cat storage, and that's all. That's all you need to know about. Whether he's good or not, wait for his true form to come out. The other one is this new legendary booknet. You probably already know this, but remember this? Remember Legendary Holy Water? This thing that I talked about in 11.6 over and over and I complained about a whole time because it contains a special egg that is only available on a bright monthly gacha that is probably only going to appear once a year. So there's an egg that you're not going to get if you miss an event once a year. Yeah, that thing is being repeated for Legendary Bucknet. Oh my god. That seems to be like a pattern now. Bucknets, if you don't know, are also basically like a special kind of like a lucky ticket kind of deal, where sometimes you get like a special unit and stuff like that. Most of them are really just for collection. Now it contains an egg if you're not around for the entire duration of a year. So if you miss one, you gotta wait for next year for it to come, because that fucking I don't know. It's so stupid. But we'll talk about Bucknets again later. But yeah, Bucknets are now updated because now it contains a new egg unit. Is it the same egg as Holy Water? No, it is a completely different egg. The egg in the Holy Water is still exclusive to Holy Water. The egg in Bucknet is completely new and it's exclusive to Bucknet. Kabuto and Kuwagata cats, which are units that you get from Bucknets by the way, can now be boosted to plus 30. Ooh, more farming. Let's go. A bunch of EOC stages got tweaked. This one is interesting. Korea nerfed? Actually true. Korea was actually nerfed. Every stages before Japan, the stage where you fight Hippo, every stage before Japan was nerfed. So this is some example. So this is old, this is current stage. Previously, this is Korea. There is this. The dojos that appears on 50% base health is just gone. This one too. This one has a 4 snake that appears once the base is hit under 50%. This one is gone. This one too. Another 4 snake that is on 50% base hit. It's also gone. Every stage up until Japan is like this. Photos when they nerf Korea and leave the Latent Priest untouched. There was a couple of speculations on why this was the case. One of them was that this is for people who do Risemara. If you don't know what Risemara is, it's Reset Marathon, which is people who create a new account and replay from the beginning over and over and over again so that they get a good unit in the beginning to actually start a save file. Let's just imagine like this is Epic Fest, okay? And you think, you know what? Rather than like going through a slog of Into the Future and stuff like that, being with my like really mediocre unit and stuff like that, what if I just reset from the beginning over and over and keep on rolling until I get Dazzly? That's what Risemara is. And the first time you actually get to roll your ticket is after beating Japan. So the idea was that if you nerf these stages, it's going to be easier for people who do Risemara to actually get into Japan and roll their tickets and stuff like that. That's one of the theory. Another one, I believe 7, also says that another theory that he has was that in a bit, I think Korean and Taiwan version has anniversary soon, and 7 thought, well, maybe it's for that. Maybe because there's going to be influx of new players. Or maybe it's just for Risemara, really. You might wonder, but like, wait, that's so stupid. Why would you Risemara over and over again? Nobody's going to do that. Let's just say you'd be surprised. The other day, I was opening a Battle Cats stream on Twitch, and I saw, this Battle Cat stream has 200 viewers, and I thought, wow, this must be a really interesting content. I wonder what they're doing on stream. Turns out it's a Korean Battle Cats player, and they're doing Risemara. They have like 4 accounts all at once, and they're like all buying Returner Remote. And they're just like trying to get everything over and over again. This is a common thing. This is a very common thing. And again, keep in mind, this has nearly 200 viewers. It's definitely not unpopular. This is definitely a thing that people do. Yeah, I don't know if the theory about this being for Risemara people are correct, but it's definitely out there. Imagine actually playing the game. Why would you? Exactly. Clone Farmers. If you don't know what Clone Farmer is, it is a pretty notorious UL stage known for spamming a lot of Mr. Mer. Clone Farmers, this is basically what the stage looks like. A shit ton amount of Mr. Mers, some Auras, a really powerful Celeboodle and Henry, and now it has 1 less Mr. Mer. There's like a shit ton amount of Mr. Mer here, and they're only removing 1. I don't actually know how much this changes. I feel like this doesn't actually change much. But Wufa did mention that sometimes this could be huge if your Eraser tanks an extra hit. with one less Mr. Mer, because that has happened with him before. He said that if at like a certain level with Eraser and maybe like certain weakened target and stuff like that, this could be huge. The IV sealed door, I actually don't remember what this even is. What is this? Actually, I don't remember. IV sealed door? Oh, okay, yeah, I remember this one actually. Wait, what? Has weaker assassin bear? Is this for 3-star? I'm confused. I actually am not really sure now. This is IV sealed door. It's a black stage. I didn't actually remember this being kind of ass because of the surge base. The surge base being really prevalent with this, and you're not really allowed to push much. But weaker assassin bear? Question mark? I don't know. Maybe it is for 3-star. Maybe it's for cannon might not be able to kill assassin bear or shenanigans on 3-star or whatever. That's my guess, at least. I don't know. One Mola Mola clap got changed into a time stage map. Okay. Maybe it's a replacement for what they did with dual stage, because dual stage was removed with not having time stage anymore. But hey, that means more rewards for people, right? That's good. That's always good. So those are the miscellaneous changes. Moving on to Gacha banner, Dynamite now includes a new Uber, which I'll get into soon. Actually, I think Ponos did tweet about the new Uber. Yeah, here we are. There you go. We got a new Uber for Dynamite. Do kind of like his design a little bit. We'll get into him a little bit more later. His body looks pretty funny. He has like this six-pack, but it's really just like balls. I don't know. I think Ponos accidentally scheduled the tweet wrong, I believe. When this was tweeted, Dynamite wasn't even on. And so I think they issue an apology tweet afterwards. They were like, actually, wait, Dynamite is not actually on right now. They were like, wait, we're sorry. Actually, it's not even Dynamite. It's actually Neko right now. So yeah, we'll get into the bird later. Uberfest, Epic Fest, and Royal Fest banner to include new units, of course, obviously. Summer Seasonal Gacha to upgrade includes new units, which we'll get into again later. Summer Bugnet banner to include a new egg. Ranma Health Collab banner to include new units. Hey guys, do you know about the new Ranma Health Collab? Yeah, if you follow Ponos on Twitter, they've also been talking about Ranma Health for a very, very long time now. Ranma Health is getting a rerun. This is a new unit. I think those two are the new unit. I'm pretty sure it's just her and him. Okay, next, new true forms. And boy, there's a lot of new true forms, as you can see here. A lot of them are seasonal. Seaside Neko, Sunten Cat, Lifeguard Cat, Saki, Summer Saki, Bikini Land, Kaguya, Summer Kaguya, and Siege Walker Diabolosa. Yeah, all of these are seasonal except for Siege Walker. Siege Walker is, Destroyer, if you don't know. Let's get into Seaside Neko. Seaside Neko gains 200% damage. It's triple damage, actually. There we go. Actually, pretty fucking good. One of her main problems back then was that Seaside Neko has a really, really long attack frequency, and she still has that. But since her damage is incredibly boosted, her damage is actually pretty fucking good. This can definitely cripple a lot of really tanky metal units, or even one-shot some of the tanky metal units. If you want comparison, the easiest comparison would be against Waitress or Soba Cat. So if you see here, the damage right now is 7,650. This is level 30, by the way, which is between Waitress and Soba. Waitress having 6,000 DPS, 6,000 damage per hit, and Soba having 8,000 damage per hit. Seaside Neko is basically in the middle of Waitress and Soba. Waitress and Soba also has a really, really long attack frequency, which is basically the same as Sunny Neko. So yeah, she's actually kind of like better Waitress, sorta. Well, actually not really, because she has the range problem being lower. Her respawn is longer as well. It is 57 seconds, meanwhile Waitress and Soba is like 31 seconds. But still, for a unit that is also really cheap, pretty reliable and all that stuff in general, it's definitely a good true form. Having just a second Waitress in general, like, even you might say it's like, oh well, it's not going to replace Waitress. Yeah, but what if you bring two Waitress? That's already really good. Can she get plus levels? Of course. course you can. She's the gacha unit. You can definitely can. The quote-unquote main problem is that it requires a gold cat fruit seed. So the chance of you getting Seaside Neko true form before Waitress is very unlikely. But again, you are basically able to bring essentially 2 Waitress cat at the same time. And I think that's pretty good. Next one is Suntan Cat. Macho Suntan. Suntan gets slightly better HP. The base health is slightly improved. This is level 30 again. The dodge is still the same. I believe this is still the exact same. The speed is now faster from 10 to 18 and the backswing is faster. It does sort of matter for a meat shield, question mark, kinda. The HP probably won't matter too much up until a certain point. I'd imagine the answer would be level 34. Other than that, not much has really changed. The main thing that's really changed, I think, is just the speed, really. The speed increase is definitely really significant, but you definitely got a question, is it worth all these? I don't know. Next one, Lifeguard Cast, also known as Gelatos, or also known as... Who said this? Was it Tim Tams or was it Johanna? I actually don't remember who started this first. It's the Gelgatos. Get it? Because it's an ice cream and it's a gato, it's a cat. It gains Behemoth Slayer and shorter backswing. This is probably one of the most interesting true form. It is a very odd choice for a true form change, but it works really well. This is Lifeguard Dango, and now it's Sweet Bros. It's Gelatos. It's Gelgatos. So the main thing for the true form for Gelato is that it has Behemoth Slayer, which is not really something that I expected at all in the slightest, because the main thing is that Gelato used to be simply a unit that slows traitless enemy. It does slow traitless enemy for 4 seconds for a 40% chance, and it has good standing range. It has LD. None of these changes. The ability to slow doesn't change. His range doesn't change. His DPS is still relatively lacking, but with the Behemoth Slayer, this does get multiplied by 2.6 or something like that. It's 2.5, isn't it? Having 2.5 more damage output. The DPS is actually 4,200, which is pretty good for a stackable unit that stands at 325 range with LD. This is actually pretty competent. So surprisingly, this guy actually gets an attacker role now. So not only that it can slow traitless for a really good chance, it also has stats to actually properly like damage behemoth enemies. Chris Muhammad DPS. It actually is Chris Muhammad DPS with a proper setting range, with a proper LD, with an HP that if you times whatever for Behemoth Slayer, it's probably something around like 20k if I have to guess, something like that. It's pretty good. It's actually pretty good for Behemoth. There aren't that many Behemoth that he targets that is actually going to be that relevant, that where his range is going to be needed, that Courier doesn't just demolish by his own. But there is one that is released this update, which is the new Angel Gory, which we'll talk about later. So that's Gelgatos. Definitely one of the biggest winners for this update. Next one, Aqua Buster Saki. This one is kind of funny. This one is actually really funny. It just gains strong versus. Saki is a unit that usually specializes on target only. Previously, it targets only floating and angel. Now that doesn't actually change. The only thing that changed is that it's now strong against. So it's usually like an 80% damage increase. Yep. It is a very, very powerful damage increase. It requires Epic Cat Fruit Seed, which means that you need to clear SOL or need to clear like a Baron stage, and an Aku Cat Fruit, but ironically, it doesn't even target Aku. Yeah. I think someone mentioned this, but someone was complaining sorta. It sort of break the conventional rule for Dark Heroes, which is that every forms has their own strength and weaknesses. In the case of Aqua Buster Saki, the evolved version is just completely outclassed by the true form version, because the true form version is just straight out better, which, you know, normally for other Ubers that's normal, but for a Dark Heroes, this is definitely new. That's quite a lot of damage. 13,000 DPS against Floating and Angel. Again, it is still target only. You can say that like, oh, in that case, why don't they just like, you know, buff their damage and buff their health? Well, for one, the health still matters outside of trait, outside of their target trait. Buffing this by like essentially double does actually make a difference between what trait she's being attacked by. Second of all, I think it might be for combos. Is my guess, is that so that you can apply strong versus combo on her and she would work even better with that. She does less damage to the bases. Oh my god, you're actually correct. Oh my god, yeah, you're actually correct. It does less damage to bases. Definitely an interesting true form where they break the conventional rule of Dark Heroes. And it's definitely a really strong true form if you're definitely interested in just destroying floating and angels. But again, it does require Epic Cat Fruit Seed, so you might want to be wary of that. Next true form is Bikini Land Pasalan. This one, in my opinion, probably one of the most interesting true form. Oh my god, I looked away for a second to get Bikini Land stats and chat. Shut the fuck up. Please shut the fuck up about the waifu shit. But yeah, Bikini Land Pasalan, if you're not aware of what this unit is, this is a RNG machine. It is a damager Luga, actually. It doesn't actually do knockback or freeze or whatever. It actually does damage. Welcome, your new Search Overlord, Dasly no more. This is the Search waifu that you want. You want to roll Dasly? No, you roll Bikini Land. Keep in mind, again, the only change that it has is that it changes the Search level from level 5 to level 8, which means that previously, it has effectively times 6 damage if the search actually hits. But now it has level 8 search, which means that it has times 9 effective damage if all the search hits. If his main attack connects, and also that all of his search connects, he has 8k DPS. He has 8k DPS at level 30. Pretty good. With something like 8k DPS, that randomized search is still probably going to pop off every once in a while. Consistency isn't as important as fun factor. Let's be real here. The hype is seeing random shit pops off. And this is definitely the unit for you if you like that sort of shit. AKA me. This is the unit for me. I want this unit now. It is an extremely funny unit where it can destroy an enemy or destroy a stage if you're lucky enough, or sometimes otherwise you might just use it for kind of like a utility for anti-peons. Basically, you can use it for stages that maybe like spam Brolos a lot, or maybe like spam Doges a lot, or spam like whatever a lot. Getting this like level 8 search wall is going to be really helpful. Even if it spawns like really far away, it's still going to block oncoming peons, and if it spawns really close, then you know it might miss. But if the peons are pushing, then you know, yeah, this is the better Dasly now. This is the sexier Dasly unit. It is shit at consistency, yes, but again, if it pops off, it pops off. It does require Aku Cat Fruit Seed, which isn't too hard to get, and it also gets it also needs 3 Behemoth Stone, which is really cheap. You get Red Behemoth Stone really easily. So honestly, if you have Bikini Land, I would actually highly recommend to just get the true form. It's not a terribly hard true form to get. Just get the true form and have fun. It's literally just 3 Red Behemoth Stone. You're not missing out on much. It's literally just 3. Like, look at me in the eyes. I'm a fucking cheapskate. I'm like a massive fucking cheapskate. If you ask me for advice, I will always keep on telling people to just like save up for everything. But like, this is 3 Red Behemoth Stone, and even me as a cheapskate still think this is something that you can get like really easily. Like, come on, like how cheapskate can you be that you're not willing to let go of 3 Red Behemoth Stones? Save up and roll almighties. No, shut up. Haha, I am 100% X-Skull and I dictate that she is D tier. Oh my god. I think Joe's actually had a comment on Summer Luga. Let me see if I can find it. Well, this is a reply to my comment. I comment about how I think I really like Summer Luga being like this random slot machine that can really randomly pop off. And I feel like she's a bit underrated. And yeah, this is what Jones said. We're spoiled by units with high specs. With that consistency somehow becomes the standard. No wonder this type of unit is often looked over. It's like, thinking about it again, oh my god, yeah. Because like, okay, Battle Cat's boomer time. Back in my days, fucking everything is so inconsistent. Something that has like 100% proc chance was unheard of back then. Like when Ikai was released, a lot of people already looked at it and it was like 100% chance to freeze? This is not a unit that is supposed to exist. This looks incredibly busted. This looks like something that shouldn't exist, and this looks like something that would completely break the game, because it's really really consistent. But then it becomes a trend where everything is consistent, that something that is just slightly inconsistent as this become completely looked over. And it was like, yeah, actually, yeah. That actually was a trend back then, where everything was immensely inconsistent, and we were fine with that. But now, everything has to be 100% chance. Everything has to be guaranteed chance. If it's like 60% chance of something, trash. She isn't bad, the other Ubers are just overpowered. I mean, I don't think she's like immensely good either. I just think she's fun. I don't think she's like omega powerful, or she's like the most underrated Uber or whatever. I think she's not that great still. I think Summer Luga's not great still. But I think she's going to be really fun to use. And again, her true form requirement isn't that expensive. Like the main thing here is just the Aku Cat Fruit Seed. Now iCat is mid and cringe. Yeah, like I've seen people who like complains that iCat doesn't perma-freeze. It's like, what the fuck do you want? Coppermine being looked down upon because she doesn't have 100% procs. Okay, Coppermine is a whole different case. Coppermine is the case of being overshadowed by Sanzo and Cameraman. That's the main issue here. But like if you use Coppermine on floating stages, yeah, she actually pops off. Coppermine actually freezes floating really well. The new anti-floating will instantly suck because of Camera and Sanzo. You know what? You're right, Sanzo outclasses, to be honest. Next one is Summer Kaguya, Kaguya of the Coast. This also gets the true form. This is the final, like, summer true form, essentially. Oh my god, I forgot. She's dripping. Look at her. She looks so chill. She looks so cool. She's having the time of her life. Look at that. She's just happy to be here. This one also requires an Aku Cat Fruit, as usual, but unlike the others, this one actually targets Aku. Yeah. The main difference is that, aside from the Aku target trait, previously it's only Black Cat Alien, now it's Black Alien and Aku, it also pierces Aku shield for 50% chance. I did sorta have my problems with Cyclops. Cyclops is a unit that also pierces Aku shield for 50% chance, and you might notice that Cyclops, whenever I use him on stream, he just doesn't. And Cyclops actually has a decent amount of range. I think Cyclops has like 460 range, and so this one actually has less range than Cyclops. But I do like that it's not as expensive as Cyclops, first of all. Second of all, I think the attack frequency is pretty good. And it also has 4 knockbacks, and Cyclops only has like 3, I think. So I do think that if you don't really have much other choice for Aku Shield Breaker, this is still going to be really good. Her respawn is also really nice. Her DPS is, well, not really there, but I think it's workable enough for you to be able to damage certain stuff, for sure. It is around the 5k mark, so it's definitely like not the absolute best, but if you want to use her for damage, she's there, you know? The paladin of Akus. That, yeah, Cyclops really is. So that's why she's chilling. Yeah, she's chilling, she knows. She's cool. Probably the quote-unquote problem is that it requires an Aku Cat Fruit, which means that by the time you get the Aku Cat Fruit, chances are you've already beaten Mount Aku. But you know, there's still things like Mexico, right? There's always Mexico. This is definitely a unit that you can look out for if you want an anti-Aku that can like shield break and stuff like that. Pretty solid true form. Definitely also one of the winners for this update. And finally, we move on to Detroyar. Siege Walker Diabolosa true form gains 31% damage and freeze immunity. This is huge! So as you know, Detroyar has been quite a staple unit for Returner mode so far. He's the unit that gets like immediately mocked when I got him. People immediately go, this unit fucking sucks, this unit's stupid, and this unit is really slow and is stupid and is not ever used, and I don't remember him existing and whatsoever. Yeah, Detroyar is now an extremely solid unit now. Previously, if you don't know, Detroyar has like around 4k DPS, I think, on Evolved, and now it has 5.4k. I do believe it has around like 4k-ish. So now, yeah, it has like 5.4k. Massive fucking change, of course. And you might say, it was like 5.4k DPS, it's not that huge. But again, remember, this guy has 475 range. This is really big. This is a very good standing range. And it is really cheap. This is one of Detroyar's most best selling point. He's really cheap, and his range is really big. Him having a standard range DPS is just like good. You can definitely use it outside of its target, and you know, his target is actually very relevant. This is not something that has changed in true form. I just want to point that out. It is still massive damage and it's still zombie killer, and now it also gains a freeze immunity, which you can use for things like Henry and stuff like that, probably. Very simple change. It's literally just damage and freeze immunity, but this definitely just solidifies him so much more. If previously there are still people who doubts the Troyar's capabilities, now you see it is extremely cheap, really good range. DPS is pretty standard, but it's still really high for what his range is and for what his cost is. And again, triple typing on typings that are immensely relevant. And again, immune to freeze, which, you know, might work once in a while. Right, yeah, it also works for the Aku phase freeze as well, because the waves can definitely hit him and freeze him up. So yeah, that's Troyar. He is definitely a monster now, and I don't think I need to convince you anymore in Return to Mode that this is a really good unit, and it's definitely a unit that you should look forward to. Epic Catfoot Seat for requirement though, so you sorta need to get SOL clear to actually get him, but yeah, and well, 3 Aku Cat Fruit, but I'm pretty sure the Epic Seed is more important here. Very solid unit, and those are all for the true forms. Next one, new talents. Mercia. This is the only talent that we got. The main one that she gets is that she gets a dodge chance talent for increasing dodge chance. She gets curse immunity and surge immunity. And, you know, guess what traitless enemy that has curse and surge? That's right, it's fucking Oriel. I can sort of see that they're trying to make this like sort of an anti-Oriel or anti-Cappy, but I don't know about this one. I do think the surge immunity could come in handy, but the curse immunity is a little bit questionable. It's like this is definitely just for like Mercia trying to impress Oriel or whatever. I think I saw Jones using it on Kappa, and it sort of worked out pretty well, but the problem is that it's really expensive for a unit that is just relatively mediocre. It's like chances are you're not probably going to want to spend your NP all the way just for this, you know? Remember that this is a level-based talent, which means that it's really expensive to max out. This is probably something like, this is 175 NP to max out. So with 175 NP, it becomes 40% dodge chance, which is good, but is it worth 175 NP is the question. I feel like 40% chance should have just been Mercia's initial dodge chance, honestly. And I feel like she should have gotten something against traitless, something like strong against or something like that, because I think that would give her a really good niche for both an attacker and a damager. But no, Ponos have other things in mind. Surge immunity is good. Are you really going to spend it all for Mercia though? Next one, new cat combos. Again, these are pretty good cat combos. Courier finally gets his first cat combo. They knew what's up. They knew that the other eggs aren't worth it, and they give Courier a combo. Worker, start M with Mighty Eater. This basically means that with this, and I think it's Long Necks and Kunio, right? Long Necks, which is a combo for Kubi-Luga and Lion Cat, I believe. And then there's Kunio-kun's combo, which is also a worker start up M. Since this is also a M combo, and this is also an M combo, you know, you start your worker with 1, you plus 2, you plus 2, you plus 2 here. So you immediately get level 7 wallet. With 5 slot, you can immediately now get level 7 wallet. Pretty good. And you bring Courier with you. This is the dojo strat. And then the other new cat combo is with Kana. Kana and Heavy Assault CAT. Remember that Girls Monster pretty much always has this? Girls Monster always generally has a good combo with them related to them. Sometimes, you know, things like Verbana isn't actually related to her. Kana, who is also already a massive damage against Black unit, and Heavy Assault CAT, who is also a massive damage against Black unit with talent, has a massive damage up talent, which is, yeah, this is also a really good combo. Usually a lot of the times you wouldn't want to use a massive damage combo instead of an attack up, because usually attack up is just straight out better. But Adventure, Kana, and CAT again are units that are anti-black anyways, and are both massive damage units, so it's almost like a free combo for on a black stage. So yeah, okay, Let's talk about some of the more miscellaneous stuff first before we move on to the new unit. New enemy is an Angel Behemoth Gory, and this is this is fucking scary, dude. This is probably one of the scariest behemoth out there. Look at this motherfucker. First of all, Ponos, what is this number? Can't you just round this number? Like, yeah, okay, this number is big. It's 1 million health. But why is the number like this? Why is the number like this? Ponos? What the fuck? You could have just given it like 1,855,000. You know that's a thing, right, Ponos? What is this 5,204? First of all, it has beefy ass stats. Second of all, it has 24 knockback counts. The damage isn't too crazy, but it has Omni Strike and it stands at 200 range. That's kind of huge. The range goes up to 250, which means that it can hit courier. You can ramen it still, but it also has a level 2 wave. This is extremely scary. You know Bun Symbiote? You've definitely fought against this guy before, right? Bun Symbiote has like a 5% chance to wave. And if you fight a lot of Bun Symbiote, you probably already know this guy can really ruin your day if that 5% proc hits. Now imagine that, but 10%. And also, this guy's wave is level 1. This guy's wave is level 2, and it's 10% chance. It's a pretty scary enemy. Obviously, it's not alone, but also the other thing that is important to note, the stage that this guy currently appears in has 15 cat limits. So, good luck spamming ramen. That's not going to work. Empress Excavation 2, yeah, it's something like that. This is the last stage of Empress Excavation 2, one of the new stages in this update. This yellow one is the new Gory. There's 2 of them. It is 100% magnification, but again, the cat limit is 15. There's some strong Ultra Baba with Trillers, pretty strong Seal, 200% Wild Doges, woo, your favorite type of enemy, right? A couple of 200% Brawlos, everyone loves those stuff. On paper, again, it is a relatively simple level, but it is still very important to note about the cat limit, which means that you cannot just spam everything. I mentioned this before, this enemy, since it does go from 200 to 250 and stuff like that, and you know, you probably would want to outrange it, which is where Sweet Bro's true form actually sort of works. I have seen a lot of people use Gelgatos on the new Angel Gory, and it seems to be working pretty well. Even if its damage isn't like insane, it's still there. The damage is there. He outranges the Gory, and he's also immune to wave. It's also very important. And again, this is level 30. You can boost Gelgatos up. He has a lot of knockback counts, which means that if you do keep on just stacking damage on him, he will keep on getting constantly knocked back. Granted, his HP is still really tanky. So as long as you're staying in the offensive, you can push him back constantly. So yeah, that's the new enemy. Oh right, I forgot to mention. This is Rajang. If you haven't noticed, this is a reference to Rajang, which is what we previously thought Raging Gory is. But this one has a clear distinction with the horns of Rajang. Previously with Raging Gory, it's still sort of vague whether it's Rajang or not. This one is definitely Rajang. First of all, it's a fucking King Kong. Second of all, yeah, the horns exactly match up. So this is definitely 100% Rajang. That's it for new enemy. That's the only new enemy actually. Other miscellaneous stuff are these, you know, new UL crown. UL 35 and 36 gets 2 star difficulty, 25 to 27 get 3 star difficulty. Fucking, I really don't want to play Start UL, dude. Right, new event and gauntlet maps. Again, Empress Excavation 2 is a thing. That is where you fight Rajang. I actually don't remember what you get. Oh, right, you get a new egg here. This is where you get the new N003, which we'll get into a little bit later. Ranma Half Clap Gauntlet, 30 stages. Oh my god. Fucking gauntlets, dude. Ranma Half Clap maps get 4 star difficulty. Mola Clap Gauntlet with 20 stages. And a new time stage that drops Behemoth Stone. I vaguely remember this being a thing, but I haven't actually looked into it. I actually have not looked into this one at all. Oh, okay. I remember what this is now. I remember what these are now. These are, remember back when we had the legendary net? When we get the net, there were a couple of stages where we are forced to use only units from that net gacha. That is what this time reward is. So you can see here, Win makes a return. Woo, the coolest enemy ever. It's the Win, and also Little Dojas. Fuck you. Yeah, there's a time score rewards, like for example this one has like if you beat it with 5,000 you get yellow Behemoth stone, which is pretty good. 2,500 you get red, 500 you get purple. Yeah, it's kind of like the love letter one too. Love letter, bugnet, those have those sort of, you know, stages where it has a unit restriction. This one basically just says it's like unit restriction are units from the bugnet gacha. So yeah, this is what it is. This is a unit stage that is specifically for the bugnet. And you might notice it's like, wait, but like the bugnet units are immensely weak. How the fuck am I supposed to fight fucking Ursa Major? The answer to that is the new egg. It is basically a stage to showcase the new egg. So yeah, that is all except for the new cat units. Oh my god, I really want to talk about this first. Should I talk about this first? Okay, I want to talk about this first. Useless unit. You might wonder what this is. This is an extremely funny unit. So if you Google translate this is Neko cheetah. It's a cheetah. Why is it a useless unit? Well, let me show you the stats. First of all, this is technically stats at level 30, but its cap is level 1, which means that it cannot actually have this stats. This actually are not stats that is achievable. At level 1, it has 1 HP actually, and 1 damage. It has infinite attack frequency. It costs 1.5. It has 10 minutes, 11 minutes respawn. Its range is 1. It's single target. It has 0 DPS. The attack timing is 100 frames and then minus 99. It has 0 speed, which means that it literally cannot move, and since it's capped at level 1, it doesn't even have an evolved form. This is the only form that it has. Yeah, it looks like this. This Neko cheetah looks like this. It's literally just cheetah chilling there. Look at this guy. He's just chilling. He's big chilling. So yeah, as you can see, it does not move. It can't even attack. It doesn't have any HP whatsoever. So you might ask, what the fuck is this unit? Well, so remember that this is Neko cheetah, right? In Japanese, cheetah is spelled, well, cheetah. You know what else is spelled cheetah? Cheater. It is a unit for cheater because cheater is cheetah. This unit is technically not available to get anywhere, at least for now. I'd imagine they wouldn't want to be able to get anywhere, but this is a unit for cheaters. So technically, yeah, as you can, some of you might say that it's used to catch cheater, but as of currently, I think some people who have data mined this unit actually said that some data miners said that like owning this unit doesn't actually trigger any sort of like anti-cheat mechanics that Ponos have for in Battle Cat. So fucking, I don't know, maybe in the future updates it will. For now, it is basically just a unit to show us like, yeah, if you have this, you're a fucking dirty cheater. That's all it does. It's just chilling, and it's just to proudly show that you're a fucking cheater. It just sits and smile. Yeah, it just looks at you. It even has an idle animation too, like the tail kind of wags and stuff like that. It is oddly cute. No, it's not oddly cute, it's just cute. It really is just cute. Half convinced Ponos added this to make a de facto worst Uber on top of being a joke unit. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this guy is an Uber there. It's not even like special or whatever, it's literally an Uber. It's a no gacha Uber! It really is. Imagine getting this unit with a plat ticket, that would be kind of funny. But no, unfortunately, the Uber Fest and like platinum tickets and stuff like that does not update with the cheetah. Very unfortunate, I know. I know everyone wants the cheetah, but yeah, you can't have it. The new dynamite! As you can see earlier, this one, the Tengu guy. This one. The one that Ponos accidentally scheduled tweet wrong, even though it's supposed to be Neko Lugas. They talked about dynamites anyways and spoiled the new Uber. New Uber is a strong against and chance to knock back versus Red and Angel with strengthened at 33%. Immune to wave and weaken and has Colossus Slayer. Kind of feels like Balrog-ish, but also not really because it is a rage unit. We got this guy before Satoru gets a true form, which is kind of funny. Usually dynamites really rely on true form too. It has 6 knockback counts, which is really good. The respawn is really low. The range is pretty well, it's pretty good. The damage, the DPS is alright. The HP is really low, all things considered, but it does have really low respawn, so it sort of checks out. The cost is pretty nice, attack frequency is pretty good, speed is pretty good. It strengthens at 33% HP, which means that normally you would have 2 knockback counts, but you also need to remember this guy's HP is kind of low. Some strong enemies could like 2-shot this guy. Sometimes the strengthen might not even activate. At least that's what I'm thinking. I haven't seen anyone try this yet. This is just a speculation. But I do feel like the HP could pose a problem for this guy, where the strengthen could be completely skipped sometimes. But it shouldn't be a common problem, if I'd imagine. When it does strengthen by 100% at 33% HP, this does become like 8k DPS. But also need to remember that is at 400 range, and with probably only having like 1 or 2 knockbacks left. And at 33% HP, your HP will probably like 10k or something like that, which you're probably gonna get one-shotted by everything. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy's true form becomes Omega busted. I think it already has potential. I think it would still be usable here and there. The knockback is sort of questionable, honestly, but it does have strong, so it does have better HP against Red and Angel, and also better damage and stuff like that. Respawn is really short, cost is really good, attack frequency is pretty good, speed is pretty good. Oh yeah, there's also Colossus Slayer. I forgot to talk about that. It does have Colossus Slayer, so you can use it for some Colossal. I don't think it looks really bad at all, and I think the potential for an amazing true form is definitely there. Even without the true form, I can definitely imagine him still working out here and there, especially against Colossal, and especially against Red and Angel, of course. But yeah, for now, I think I can see the future where his true form becomes an immensely powerful unit. So yeah, definitely not a weak unit. It's still definitely there, but sometimes DPS is not everything. You just gotta remember that sometimes DPS is not everything, and you gotta, you know, yeah. Next Uber, Summer Lilin. This is also another Summer Uber that is not a true form. This is actually just a whole ass new unit. For TOS purposes, I'm not going to show the full body of Summer Lilin. I mean, it's not that bad. Honestly, it's not that bad, but I actually haven't really checked you out that much. I actually don't remember what you do. Shit, I have to actually read it now. Targets alien and traitless. Cost is pretty cheap. Barrier breaker 100% and wait, what? Dodge? Dodge for 2 seconds for 20. Aren't you a range unit? You are. 350. Wait, what? You are strong against. Huh. What does OG Lilin do? Wait, what? I actually don't even remember what OG Lilin do. OG Lilin is an Aku Shield Breaker, right? Oh, it actually is strong against. Wow, I actually completely forgot about that. I actually don't remember Lilin being strong against. Yeah, OG Lilin is strong and... No, it has Shield Pierce. Yeah, OG Lilin has 100% chance to Shield Pierce and strong against Aku and Angel. This one is against the Alien Barrier. I guess it is kind of an extra defense, sorta. This one actually has a better health than normal Lilin. Basic Lilin actually has less health. Yeah, that's actually interesting. Even the damage is better as well. I guess this sort of balances out from the Shield Breaker. It actually looks pretty good, now that I think about it. It's strong against traitless, but if the DPS is 4.7, against traitless is 1.5, so it's around 7k? 7k is not that big for a unit that stands at 350 range though. But it does have low cooldown and low respawn. And it does have the dodge, but I don't know. Actually, this feels kind of like a lackluster unit. This feels like one of those units where promos try to put too much things on and try to make it too balanced on too many enemies or whatever. But then they ended up being underwhelming on all aspects. That's what my feeling on this unit currently is. I do not really have an opinion for this girl yet currently. I think she has potential for usage against traitless. You can use her for Arost. Maybe you can use her for stuff like Puffsly, because she does have a little bit of health and stuff like that. Maybe she maybe just be kind of like a utility unit or something like that. But yeah, otherwise... you look usable enough for me to not say you're useless, but I can't really say if you're strong or not. I do think she's worth the shot if you have her though. That's new Lilin. Next new unit. Leotard Ranma. This is one of the new Ranma unit that we get from the collab. Most of you are probably not going to be that interested, but I'm going to show it anyways. New Ranma Uber looks a bit okay. So it has an Omni, it's not Omni Strike, so it has an LD. It stands a pretty good range actually. 500 300 range, 250 to 60, 250 to 650. This is not too bad. 250 is not too terrible of a blind spot, and 650 is it doesn't really pierce that much, but it still appears. The DPS is low, but I feel like that's okay because it stands at 500. The respawn is low, the cost is pretty low, HP is okay, knockback is okay, attack frequency is sorta long. The freeze is only lasts for 2 seconds though, and it's against Black and Angel. Black is definitely a questionable one. Angel is pretty good target though. Angel is a pretty good target. The freeze seems to be sorta low, but also at the same time it's a 500 range unit, sorta excusable. I think it looks pretty nice. Yeah, the uptime is really low, but it is a 500 range unit with LD, so I feel like it is excusable for it being kind of like just there for a support. But also you might still have other better units to actually CC Angels with, so I don't know, it's there, it's okay. I think it's, again, it's not a useless unit, it's usable, fucking whatever, you get the gist. Okay, since we are on the topic of Ranma, let's talk about Genma first, before we move on to the other super rare. Genma is a new super rare from Ranma, and this is arguably the more interesting one from Ranma collab actually. So, Genma is actually pretty interesting. This is a super rare in the Ranma collab, and it does massive damage against Traitless and Aku. It stands at 300 range, the respawn is relatively long, but it's pretty good. The cost is cheap, attack frequency is good, speed is good, HP is pretty good for a super rare. It's well, I mean, it's not the best, but it's still pretty good. Knockback is good, damage is alright, the DPS is okay with 300 range and stackability, and it does massive damage against White and Aku. Since we don't have treasures against White and Aku, it is ×3, so it does deal 9k DPS against White and Aku for 300 range. And pretty quick respawn. Pretty good. Actually pretty good. Definitely an Aros counter for sure. You might even use it for like wild doges and stuff like that. I think he even outranges Aku Peng actually. He doesn't have like surge immunity, so it can't handle like death search, but still, it's still pretty good. 33k damage per hit. Pretty good. Pretty good, and definitely the more interesting unit compared to the new Ranma Uber. The lesson of the day: don't simp on girls, you simp on pandas instead. I have seen several footage of this guy actually, and yeah, this guy actually has been shown to kick some ass, so definitely if Ranma comes back, this is the unit you want to look at. And now, the other super rare, and it's also very interesting, Brainwashed Bird. So far, most of the Brainwashed stuff hasn't been that interesting, aside from like Brainwashed Tank. This one is actually very interesting. Massive damage versus Traitless and has 50% chance to do level 2 mini waves and is immune to wave and surge. If you don't know, mini wave is 20% damage. Level 2 also travels the same distance as a normal level 2 wave, which is pretty good actually. It has similar stats like Crazy UFO. It has 205 range, which is usually not really safe. It is barely just enough to outrange things like Bud Bud and Dark Otter, which has like 200 range, and it has pretty much the same everything else. It has same cost, same respawn, same attack frequency, same speed. The HP is sort of similar with Crazy UFO. It's slightly weaker than normal Crazy UFO, but the fact that it does massive damage against Traitless, like even if you say it's like, well, it doesn't have a manic version, massive damage against Traitless with level 2 mini wave. That's pretty big. That's pretty fucking big. DPS ×3 is basically around 10k. This is a UFO clone, which means that it has really low cooldown. Combine this with research, it's essentially 2 seconds cooldown. Spammable 10k DPS. Yes, you can't really use it for like Auros and shit like that, sure, but you can use it to rush down things like Dakshan really fast, or just rush down some other Traitless enemies whatsoever that you can like enter blind spot, like Bowles or Henry or whatever. You can rush them down super fast with this guy. I have seen him work really well once in a while here and there. And it also works for things like Mr. Mur. It doesn't outrange Mr. Mur, but sometimes Mr. Mur hides behind some other enemies, and you can actually use the mini wave to just snipe them down. Granted, probably one of the biggest problem it has is the same problem that Crazy UFO has, which is that it's sort of expensive. Like, you can just keep on spawning it over and over again, but your wallet will cry. But at least this one feels more worth spawning, you know? Still waiting for Brainwashed Whale with Savage Flow. Oh my god. Can we now beat Korea level easy? You already got nerf and you still want this? Shake my head. It has also Wave and Surge immune, which is sort of like an extra, honestly, because I don't really think there's any other Traitless that does Wave and or Surge that like this guy can actually even work on in the first place. So it is sort of an extra. It is there. It is definitely there. You can definitely use him to like snipe down Mr. Mer better or whatever, stuff like that. Is this better for floor 45 panic flying stack? Probably, yeah. Because it will, I imagine if you use it on floor 45, it should be able to delete Dash Hun really fast. Definitely an interesting unit to have. Very looking forward for more testing to whoever have Brainwash Bird, because it does look like a very fun unit to test around, especially with like the mini wave sniping and stuff like that. I think it is probably the best variant of Bird you are right now. This one is on the, wait, what gacha is this on? Oh, this one is on the summer gacha. Yeah, this one is on the summer gacha. If you're like on early game, you roll the summer gacha, you got this guy, and then you do Manic Lion. Just think about it. Yeah, it is kind of like a bear cat if you think about it. It is kind of like a bear cat gacha. He's going to melt Manic Lion. But yeah, summer gacha is indeed Hawk this year. It is winning. And now we move on to the eggs. There's 2 new eggs. As usual, they already have the true form immediately. N003 and N202. N202, this one is obtained from Summer Bugnet Gacha. I hate this so much. Yeah, here's another one. Here's another monthly egg. Oh my god. It starts with 2 because it is, you know, from these sort of stuff. N201 was the anti-Aku one. This one, N003, is obtainable from Empress Excavation 2 mission, the one that you fight fucking Angelic Gory on. You might wonder, N001 is Haniwa, and this one is N003. Where is N002, some of you might ask? Well, it's Edie. Edie is a special cat that we get quite a long time ago before eggs are even a thing. This is Edie N002. And Edie is not even an egg unit, technically. Well, sorta, unless he actually is an egg, but he looks more like a moth now. So if you're wondering why N002 doesn't exist, why we skip N002, it's because N002 is literally the first N00 that we got. Battle Cat's lore at its finest. There is at least Ponos pay attention to the consistency. N003 is what a lot of people would call as cactus, and N202 is what a lot of people doesn't actually even remember at the first place. I'll talk about N202 first, because cactus is special. N202 is the unit that you get from Summer Bugnet Gacha. So as you can see here, the egg is red, right? So naturally, it should be an anti-red. But actually, it's dual typing. It's not purely an anti-red. It is an anti-red and alien. Yeah, it kind of breaks the convention of other eggs, actually. It is a double-traded egg that is unfortunately not really good. As usual, of course, it's Behemoth Slayer, with the Behemoth Dodge, of course, classic. It is a unit that weakens for 50% chance. A second red egg, as you can tell. So now we know we are not limited to 1 trait per egg. That is good to know. And the other thing that is also good to know is that since this targets both red and alien, that also means that the color of the egg doesn't determine what the target only is. It determines one of the target traits, but it doesn't determine all of the target traits. It could still have potentially other traits, and this one is alien. So we get a second red egg that is a unit that weakens, but it has a really low range for some reason. The cooldown is really short, the cost is really cheap, attack frequency is pretty decent, the speed is... Normally, I would be okay with the speed, but this is kind of a melee unit. It is questionable. I think the speed could be way higher for what it does. The HP is relatively low. Knockback is 1, which honestly, I'm completely content with. I think 1 knockback would actually make complete sense for this guy. Damage is negligible. This unit is sort of weird. It's not really interesting in any way. The weaken isn't even guaranteed. The weaken does last for 3 seconds, which is pretty good. It does actually, you know, has a 100% uptime, but it is 50% chance, and it's not exactly stackable. Like, the respawn is short. Yes, the respawn is short, but the range is 210, which means that it's probably going to die pretty fast. Especially with a 1 knockback count and a relatively meh HP, it's sort of a lackluster unit. I have actually visualized, sorta, kinda, not really visualized, but I have tried looking up some stuff again for this guy, and I do find out that he does sort of work for Scissorex, at least in terms of numbers. It sort of works for Scissorex. Because this guy is an alien after all. I looked up the numbers, if I'm not wrong, if my brain doesn't fail me. I do believe at level 30, thanks to Behemoth Slayer, he actually can tank this guy's attack if he's weakened. So if he actually lands the weaken first, he actually can tank Scissor X, and potentially that could lead up to a chain of multiple more weakens, but I don't know. That's all I'll say. I don't know. It's sort of like kind of a big brain possible theory strategy what if here and there, but it's so complicated that like for normal players I feel like just spam courier, bro. So yeah, that is Ento02. It is sort of lackluster, and I'd imagine his target versus alien is the main reason why this stage has Ursa Major. You can use this guy on this stage. Since it is on the Bucknet Gacha, you can level him up normally to level 30, and you can get him to plus 10 as well. You can use him for this guy, you can use him for the Ursa Major here, because it, you know, it weakens alien and stuff like that. So I think this unit could potentially have usage against Scissor X, but aside from that, I think his range is way too low, and I think his weaken should have just been 100%, man. This weaken should have just been 100%. The cost requirement isn't too bad. It's 10 purple and 10 red, which is, you know, it's a decent amount, but at least it's not blue, it's not green, and it's not yellow, and that's all I care about. So, final one, N003. This one is also another big highlight of this update. This is Cactus. It's actually pretty cute. I actually really like this cactus. This cactus is super cute. Oh yeah, also, I just want to show this. N202's attack animation. He just shines. He gets in, like, fucking shines like a bug or whatever, and then it just goes out again. It's really cute. And then this one is Cactus. He's also just chilling. So this is N003, and this is our second Aku egg. This one only targets Aku. It doesn't have double trade target like the other one. And this is a meat shield. This is a 4 seconds meat shield, 140 range, cheap cost, attack frequency doesn't really matter, speed. HP is pretty big, 1 knockback count as a meat shield should. It is strong against Aku, and it is immune to surge. Basically, it's kind of like the Aku Catalyte, essentially, with a immune to surge. Very, very interesting. Its cost is relatively cheap. The HP is definitely high up there. Essentially around 39k HP, with pretty low respawn and stuff like that. It looks like a pretty solid meat shield, and it is. Especially with the immune to surge as well, which means that it wouldn't be affected by death surge, or just Akus that does surge in general, or even you can just use him against just any enemies that does surge. But to be fair, you might as well just use Galo Amigo at that point. But you know, if there's an Aku there, extra points, you know. Rover has been working well, so naturally this guy also works pretty well, especially with the surge immunity. It doubles it up. It just makes it extra working really well. Aku Bear doesn't actually usually push that hard if you really try to meat shield it. It doesn't actually do a shit ton amount of damage, so even with like this guy having 39k is also pretty good. But do you notice you're missing something here? Do you notice you're missing something? This cactus doesn't have a Behemoth Slayer. This cactus doesn't actually counter Behemoth. This is also the first egg that doesn't actually have Behemoth Slayer. Very, very interesting. I'd imagine Ponos just realized, it's like, you know what? This guy's gonna be way too strong for like Behemoth, so we might as well just not make it Behemoth Slayer. What about Edie? Okay, listen. don't get a smart ass on me, but you know what I mean. Even without the Behemoth Slayer, it still has already plenty of use anyways, right? It's a pretty good anti-Aku and stuff like that, so you might think, oh, I definitely would want to use it for Aku realms, naturally, right? Because why wouldn't you? It is definitely going to be a very, very useful unit if you want to like traverse through Aku realms. So then you might ask, well, how do I true form it? Oh boy. Cat fruit requirement. 10 purple Behemoth, 10 red Behemoth, 10 blue Behemoth, 10 green Behemoth, 10 yellow Behemoth. Yeah. 10 purple and red is okay. 10 blue and green is like, well, okay, blue and green hasn't been used for a lot of other units. You might as well save up for this guy. That's not going to be that big of a deal, surely. 10 yellow behemoth? 10 yellow behemoth? If you were in my returner mode earlier, you saw I have like 20 something purple and 20 something behemoth and green. I just true form surgeon, which means I just used up like 13 green and 13 blue. So I have like 20 or maybe even like 30 of purple and red and green and stuff like that. And I have like 4 yellow behemoth stones because getting yellow behemoth stones is absolutely ass. These 10 of like purple, red, blue, and green aren't actually that big of a deal. It's literally just this. 10 yellow behemoth is a lot. And chances are you are not getting 10 yellow behemoth before you finish Aqua Realms. So if you're planning to use this guy on Aqua Realms, it's not worth it, man. You have a better chance of getting Belly Dancer before you get Cactus. It's still a pretty solid unit in general, like even just for numbers. It's still a really solid unit. I have seen some screenshots of this guy just destroying some Aqua stages. So yeah, is it worth? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. It is a good and solid unit, but whether it's worth this 10 yellow behemoth stone, yeah, well, figure it out yourself. By figure it out yourself, I mean literally, because even I don't know. So yeah, that is pretty much all about 11.7. Overall, not as substantial as like 11.5, obviously. A lot of the contents here are definitely for the summer gacha. A shit ton amount of changes for the summer gacha, obviously. There's even like summer linen as well. And then there's Brainwashed. There's a shit ton amount of changes right here. And even the summer Neko is also pretty good. Not much of new enemy, unfortunately, but it's still a pretty interesting one. New Uber, whatever. Panda gaming, Panda winning. Cheetah is funny. Eggers is, well, mainly just Cactus. This guy is kind of eh. So yeah, that's about all for 11.7 more or less. Show us Summer Linen. There. That's Summer Linen. I do really like the neon lights. This neon lights is so funny. It's so cute. But yeah, otherwise, there's Summer Linen. There we go. Now that's it. No more Summer Linen. Goodbye to your Summer Linen. Bye bye. Just look at Rajang instead. This one is sexier, right? This one is sexier. There we go. There we go. Look at nice and close. How sexy this beast is. Summer Gacha is gaming. Unfortunately, Wave Rider Ku did not get anything. Why though, Ponos? Please buff my girl, Wave Rider Ku. Why are you buffing Saki? This girl is already really good. Please give Wave Rider Ku true form. Thank you, Ponos, very much.